company is AA, yes, ma'am?
Sorry, yeah. We just started the recording. If you start over and when you come up for public comment, give us your name and spell it for the recorder, please. Go ahead and start over, Mr. White.
Yes, sir. Let me know. Am I good?
Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Ron Voigt. My company is AAA, Team Sales Tax LLC. And what I'm really wanting to comment today is to thank the Deputy Director. I think she did a very good job on running the workshop on April 21st. Another person I would want to thank is, of course, Tina. I think you are going to have to train someone really well. The executive assistant does a real good job on running these meetings. I want to thank her for all the help too. My next comment is going to be commenting or kind of answering Commissioner Byram's questions real quick during that meeting or during the May 1st, that meeting. The estimated completion date and the waiver of limitation date in my 18 years of working with the department always agreed. I made sure that they did agree. If they didn't agree, then I'm thinking that the auditor didn't do good planning. I usually set the ECD for 3 months. Lately, since 2021, I have seen that the auditor's been doing 2 months. 2 months is really pushing it on completing an audit. I do think my next comment would be, she had mentioned that she thought, and I agree, that it could be unfair for the department to have legal counsel on while the taxpayer did not during a hearing or even during the petition for redetermination. I do agree with that too. I think that they need to be on even footing during the process. And I think that's something that the commission needs to look at. My last question concerning her questions is the audit tax manager and the management analyst 3 had made the comment that they thought that if a taxpayer went straight to hearing, oral hearing with the administrative law judge, that the hearing officer would send it back to the department to do a petition for redetermination. I'm going to disagree with that because there's really not that much documentation for a compliance audit that can be, that can be provided to the hearing officers to kind of give them a good idea if it's worth pursuing on the financial information side. For instance, maybe a copy of the NRS that the department and taxpayer disagree with, just a copy of it. You could also use a questionnaire provided by the taxpayer to answer questions by the hearing officer. If that happens, the hearing officer then could kick it back if so be it. But I do think that for a compliance audit, not as much documentation is required as for a financial audit. I do want to talk a little bit, I know I'm taking a little bit too much time, but the appeal process. I do think the department really needs to make clear to the taxpayer that the petition for redetermination cannot determine violations of the taxpayer bill of rights. It cannot rule on the interpretation of tax law and disagreements on the audit approach. Also, I'm pretty sure that during the exit meeting done by the auditor, that they never do mention NRS 360.365, which gives the taxpayer a clear route to a meeting with the hearing officer, an oral hearing. Since I'm going to cut off my comments, because I know, Chairman, I only have a certain amount of minutes and stuff, I would say the department really needs to pay attention to the Nevada taxpayer bill of rights. If an audit was done based on the Nevada taxpayer bill of rights, I really do think it would help not only the department, but the taxpayer too. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Do we have any public comment on the phone?
If you are on Zoom and would like to make public comment, please dial *9 to be put into the queue. I don't see any public comment on Zoom.
All right, thank you. Public comment in Reno. Sir?
Good to go. Good morning. My name is Jeffrey Church, CHURCH. Representing myself, I run a website, renotaxrevolt.com. I'm here to, again, for public comment, not for the sake of public comment. I'm here again to ask that the Department of Taxation respond to my requests and take action regarding the Department of Taxation letter, which I'm going to put on the record again, and which I will read into the record a portion of that. This letter deals with the Reno Department, the Reno BID, Business Improvement District, AKA the DMO, from the Department of Taxation, quote, at a minimum, the Reno BID DMO is subject to the jurisdiction of the department pursuant to the Local Government Budget and Finance Act pursuant to NRS 354-474, Section 1. For instance, the creation of a special assessment local improvement district pursuant to NRS 271 would appear to trigger budget reporting responsibilities for contracts associated with the expenditures of the special assessment levies pursuant to NRS 354-5965, end quote. Why aren't we doing this? Why is nobody responding to me? Just give me a yes and no. Tell me to go get lost. Tell me that you're doing it. Tell me you're going to do it. And if you're not doing it, why are you not doing it? You have this agency who's subject to your jurisdiction acting rogue without any supervision from the Department of Taxation as near as I can determine. Now, I also submitted on the record today a letter to the director essentially, reverberating what I'm covering today. I don't get it. I've been here so many times. I've been to CLGF and you just ignore me. And as was mentioned by the last speaker, the Taxpayer Bill of Rights gives us a right to a response. That's all I'm asking. Tell me to get lost. Tell me you're doing it. Tell me you're not doing it. Tell me something, please. Or tell me how to file a formal complaint, which I've asked. But again, I'll put this on the record. You've got an agency out there subject to your jurisdiction that apparently taxation's ignoring based on your own letter. So I really appreciate it if somebody can direct somebody to do something and just tell me that I'm wasting my time or tell me to come back, tell me you're doing something, et cetera. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comment in Reno? Okay, Director Hughes, if I could have you administrate the oath, please.
Yes, for those testifying today, will you please stand and raise your right hand to take the oath? For those of you that plan to testify today, do you promise that your testimony during these proceedings will be truthful? If so, say I do. I do. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. As far as agenda items, agenda item number 6.2, taxpayers appeal to the treasurer denial waiver of penalty and interest for Lonnie County. According to NRS 361.4835, the division needs to issue a decision on these three items before it comes before us. So I am pulling that from the agenda. So if there's anybody on the phone or out there, those items will not be heard today. Okay, commissioners, is there any, oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
6.2, right?
Yeah, 6.2.
Maybe that's what I said. Okay. Next item on the agenda then is the meeting minutes, A, for April 21st. Any corrections and or motions?
Commissioner Witt moved to approve the April 21st Nevada Tax Commission meeting minutes.
Commissioner Rutherford seconds.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Meeting minutes for May 1st.
Commissioner Witt, move to approve the May 1st, 2023 Nevada Tax Commission meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Rhoda for a second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chair, may
Yes.
I interrupt? You had mentioned that you were pulling items, agenda item 6.2. It's actually agenda item 7.2.
That is correct. Thank you very much. Okay, that gets us to the consent calendar. Is there anything else any of the commissioners would like to pull on the consent calendar?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to pull two items. The first one is 4C3 Outdoorsy Inc. The second one is 4D1 A-Track Out Solution.
Okay, anything else?
It's Commissioner Witt. I would like to pull item E3. Tricia and Sean Abster.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, I would entertain a motion then on the consent calendars besides those three items. We'll take them one at a time.
Commissioner Lippman moves to approve the consent agenda absent items C3, D1, and E3.
Commissioner Bursey seconds.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Commissioner Byram, go ahead.
All right, on just a second here. On the Outdoorsy case, we received an updated cover sheet, but I can only see the first top half of that, and I wasn't sure if a correction was made to the bottom half that said that the penalty had been paid in full, when it looks like it had been partially paid based on the math that was on the sheet. I can't see it right now. I'm trying to open it. But looking at the corrected cover sheet.
Yes, good morning. Mixali Arambula for the record.
Okay, go ahead.
To answer your question, Commissioner, the taxpayer has paid $17,392.67 towards the penalty, therefore creating a credit of that very same amount if the waiver is approved.
Okay, and the paragraph down below that, in the previous version, it said that it had been paid in full. The 17,000 was payment in full. But in the center of the page, when it shows the $2 amounts, it shows that the actual penalty was more than 17. So I just want to make sure that that correction had been made.
My records indicate that the penalty and interest have been paid in full and that the taxpayer is requesting only the penalty to be waived for the total of the previous amount that I just gave you.
Okay, so on the sheet, it says the total penalty assessed is $22,866. Total to waive if recommendation is approved, $17,392. So if the total penalty was paid, that would have been.
Okay, if I may, ma'am, we are recommending a portion of the periods to be fully approved and the later part, the other half of it to be denied. And that's where you will find the difference.
Okay.
So we are recommending the full waiver is for the periods of October of 2019 through April of 2021. We're only recommending that $17,392.67 be waived, and the difference, which is periods December of 2020 through April of 21, we are not recommending those periods to be waived.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve. Just a second, I gotta get there again. Move to approve
This is the
item
reporter.
4.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting any sound. I can't hear you.
All of us or just that commissioner?
I'm not muted. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right. Are you able to hear me, the recorder?
I am now. Thank you.
Okay. I make a motion to approve item 4C3 outdoorsy ink waiver penalty.
Thank you.
Commissioner Witt, second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, D1 A-Track Out Solutions. Commissioner?
I have a question for the state, and you may not be able to answer it since this is a settlement agreement, but it seems to me that the drop from the original assessment of over $1 million down to 162,000 is a significant drop, and there may be reasons for that, but I'm just concerned. It's a significant drop, but with a settlement agreement, we don't end up with a resolution as to what the law for whatever the question, the controversy was, isn't being settled and made clear, and that's an enormous drop without some sort of an understanding of why. And is there any way that you can sort of explain in general terms why it dropped significantly, or are you unable to discuss that?
Is this on?
Yes.
Andrea Nichols, NICHOLS, Senior Deputy Attorney General, appearing on behalf of the Nevada Department of Taxation. As I think you can see, this started with the deficiency notice coming out in August of 2019. Now we're almost 4 years later. And I think that the department just wanted to avoid further time and expense of litigation.
Oh, and that's the reason for the drop,
Yes.
mostly? Okay. Well, all right, I understand. I wasn't sure you would even be able to tell me anything, but I will then move to approve item number 4D1 A-Track Out Solution Settlement Agreement.
Thank you.
Commissioner Witt, second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Commissioner Lippman, just a quick question for follow-up. I appreciate that question, Commissioner Byram, because it's a significant drop. Ms. Nichols, so it sounds like, at least from the record, that on a going forward basis, all of these bins then will be subject to the sales tax. So on a going forward basis, we've remedied the issue. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. So that gave me some comfort, Commissioner Byram, but I appreciate you calling this out. And I appreciate Ms. Nichols' response. Thank you.
Thank you. That does help out. Commissioner Lippman.
Okay, any other comments? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that brings us up to, E3. Commissioner Wick?
Yes, I just have some questions for the department.
Okay.
For whoever is shepherding that case.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mixley Arambula for the record.
Oh, hi. Hey, so am I correct that the offer is to pay $5,000 on 68,748 less the cents in a tax liability?
That is correct, Commissioner.
So I went through this several times just because I noticed that I'm looking at a 2018 Lincoln and a 2021 Tesla. Significant cost. I believe Brisha is still in the wedding business. Am I correct?
That is correct, Commissioner. They do have an open account. Ms. Absher is currently in business and her husband helps her with that business, but his source of income is through his disability.
Right, which is, there's a couple sources of income for him. And I understand we all need transportation and perhaps the Lincoln is used to transport customers. I just observed a substantial amount of income. And I saw also there's a significant federal tax liability. And I feel bad for that. And I feel bad that there's still outstanding debt, but it appeared that for a number of years they collected tax, but they didn't remit any tax. So I was kind of wondering, I guess that's the farmer in me, what the heck they do with all that money? That did belong to the state. So I guess honestly, I feel that they can do better from what I saw, better than $5,000 on that amount.
Yes, we do see your point, Commissioner. Unfortunately, because of the existing circumstances behind the personal liens, a very big majority of them were not renewed. The only personal liens that we have standing is personal liens that came out of their bankruptcy where we were able to apply res judicata, but that's a very small amount. The other portions, at this point, we just believe that it's a reasonable offer at this point.
I'll make a motion to deny item E3.
Is there a second? Motion dies due to the lack of a second. Is there another motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve item 4E3.
Commissioner Byram, second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, so that ends our consent calendar. If there's anybody in the audience and or on Zoom or the telephone, all the consent calendar has been completed and you can leave if you'd like to.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we need to approve the remainder of the consent calendar.
You already did.
We already did.
We
start
did
off with.
the items that were pulled, we ruled on.
Lipman approved it and Bercy seconded.
Yeah, we did.
At the beginning, we did, yeah, prior. to
Oh,
the
I'm
pulled
sorry.
items. Yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Has something to do with the alcohol water, I think. It's going to be okay. Hang in there.
It's the crickets. It's the
It's
crickets.
the crickets. Yeah. We got frogs out in Lemon Valley here now, so. Okay, Director Hughes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The next item on the agenda is Agenda Item 5, the Compliance Division. Agenda Item 5A is approval of refund credit requests in excess of $250,000. The first item is Apple Inc., USA Inc., and we have Jay Singh representing the department.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioner. For the record, my name is Jairam Singh, Audit Manager for the department. On May 9, 2022, Apple Inc. submitted credit refund requests for a period April 1, 2019 through December 31st, 2021, requesting a refund of $1,390,709.70 for over-reported modified business tax. The overall request was made in two submissions. The first consists of amended modified business tax returns, and the second consisting of commerce tax returns, which form the basis for the refund request. The reason for the request was that the taxpayer did not take its commerce tax credit on its modified business tax return, to which it is entitled pursuant to NRS 353A 130 subsection 4. The department reviewed the request, and it was concluded the taxpayer qualified to take the commerce tax credit pursuant to NRS 363C 300 and NRS 363A 130 subsection 4. Since the request was filed timely, the department is recommending approval of the credit in the amount of $1,390,709.71. However, because the taxpayer failed to take the credit timely on its modified business tax returns as per instructions, the department concluded this is to be carelessness on the part of the taxpayer and is disallowing interest pursuant to NRS 363B 160. It should be noted that this refund was recommended for scheduling a January 2022 NTC agenda. However, the taxpayer representative requested delayed until June. I'm open for questions.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions?
Commissioner Lippman, so why would the taxpayer delay a refund request of over $1 million for almost 6 months? That's just curious to me.
Commissioner, I think that the taxpayer requested it via an email to the department. I'm not sure the reason why. If they're going out of town or something of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think Apple goes out of town.
I can speak to it if you like.
Just, are you representing Apple? If you'd like to. Okay. I'd entertain a motion then.
Commissioner Witt, move to approve.
Commissioner Lippman seconds the motion.
All right, thank you very much. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, the next item is item 5A2, Cashman Equipment Company. And for the department, we have Chris Carrillo.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Corello, Audit Manager for the record. On October 18th, 2021, Cashman Equipment submitted a request along with amended sales and use tax returns for the periods of May 2019 through July 2021, and amended modified business tax returns for quarter ending March 2021. The taxpayer was claiming that they had reported for use tax items that were later resold as part of a program called Exchange Rebuild. The review of the records found that the taxpayer had in fact reported and paid the tax twice on the items in the program, once for use tax and once when the items were sold, where tax was collected and reported. The request was filed timely, and the department is recommending the approval of the refund in the amount of $1,123,631.57. The taxpayer incorrectly filed sales and use tax returns during this period, but previously filed correct sales and use tax returns, demonstrating that they understood how to correctly file. Therefore, the department concluded that interest is going to be disallowed pursuant to NRS 372-665.
Thank you
For the
very
mo-
much.
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's more. For the modified business tax portion of the request, this was denied because the amended returns, the wages on the amended return did not match the records with Employment Security Division. I am available for any questions or comments.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Motions?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byram, I would move to approve the refund Cashman equipment.
Commissioner Bursey seconds.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
The next item on the agenda is agenda item 5A3, American Family Life Assurance Company of Columbus Department. We have Rachel Peterson.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Rachel Peterson. Before I get started, I wanted to make note that there is a typo on the document that you all received for the refund for American Family Life Assurance Co. of Columbus. Period end date January 31st, 2022 is referenced on the document, which should have read period end date March 31st, 2022.
All right.
Today, the department is recommending approval of a credit refund in the amount of $1,161,640.85 for the overpayment of insurance premium tax for American Family Life Assurance Co. of Columbus for tax year 2022. After processing the taxpayer's reconciliation return for the 2022 tax year, the department reviewed and verified the taxpayer filed and paid the quarterly insurance premium tax returns timely. However, on period ending March 31st, 2022, June 30th, 2022, September 30th, 2022, and December 31st, 2022, the taxpayer did not apply their earned Life and Health Guarantee Fund Association credit in addition to their earned new market job credit throughout the tax year. The discrepancy was discovered by the taxpayer when they filed their annual reconciliation return for the 2022 reporting period, resulting in an overpayment and refund request in the amount of $1,161,640.85. I'm available for any questions.
You speed read.
I have 6 more.
All right, good job.
If you would please slow down when you're reading, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
I was saying that for the board report. I can just see her fire. Cramping up. Okay, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Bursey.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't see any indication that interest was not allowed on this application.
So interest is not accrued on insurance refunds. There's nothing in statute that specifically says no interest will be granted. It was decided in 2011 by the Nevada Supreme Court. Since NRS 680.120 does not provide for interest, no interest is calculated or given on insurance premium refunds.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Yes.
I have a question. I believe this happens a lot with the insurance, the way those are done. Is there any way that, well, I guess at the time those are filed, are the dollar amounts known for the Life and Health Guarantee Fund credit or the new market jobs credit? Do they know those amounts at the time so that they could have filed them?
The taxpayers do know the amounts of their credits, and we send out quarterly email reminders to ask them to use their credit, but it's not till the reconciliation that they use them sometimes.
And that was another question I was going to ask is there a way to send them sort of a template of their filing with those numbers pre-filled just to avoid the, tying up those funds and having to go through this process every year? Is there just any way that it could be streamlined and prevented, or is this just going to be an annual?
That's something we're gonna have to look into.
I mean, they're out the money without interest. I don't understand why they would do that. But there's no penalty assessed and it just ties up the state's money. It's just kind of a confusing thing every year that if those amounts are known, why they aren't putting them in. But like you said, you're sending them an email. That was sort of my hope, was that they're being reminded or notified. But anyway, you answered my question. Thank you.
For the record, Jolynn Smith, tax manager. To follow up with that question, one of the issues is exactly that, is they pay the quarterly, even though we remind them. So then they take the credit after the fact. So if we were to automatically apply the quarterly credits that are earned, they're still paying it. That's the problem. It's creating the credits, even though the taxpayer continues to pay, is the problem. So.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, is this an internal control issue just for the taxpayer?
Excuse me, I'm
Is
sorry.
it more of an internal control issue for the taxpayer?
Honestly, and I'm making a guess here, but I think it's another section of the insurance company that knows about the credits than the person who's actually filing the tax return. We've had instances where we have submitted refunds after this. It goes to a completely different section and they call us wanting to know what it is. They're just, these big companies aren't really with the internal control.
This is Commissioner Byram again. Is there an opportunity for the state to issue some guidance directly to the insurance companies or hold some sort of a training workshop in order to get those departments to speak to each other and maybe clear it up that way or help clear it up?
That's definitely something we can look into. We do send the taxpayers credit notices when they're issued these credits. And we have a tax examiner that's allocated to deal or to interact with these taxpayers with any questions that they have. And she's done an incredible job at cleaning all of them up. And we just, our IT department just finished building in a credits window to track these a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byram, I would move to approve American Family Life Insurance refund credit.
Mr. Witt, second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Hughes.
Agenda item 5A4, American Zurich Insurance Company. I think we have Rachel Peterson for the department.
For the record, Rachel Peterson. Today, the department is recommending approval of a credit refund in the amount of $312,586 for the overpayment of industrial insurance premium tax for American Zurich Insurance Company for tax year 2022. After processing the taxpayer's reconciliation return for the 2022 tax year, the department reviewed and verified the taxpayer filed and paid the quarterly insurance IIP returns timely. However, on periods ending March 31st, 2022, June 30th, 2022, September 30th, 2022, and December 31st, 2022, the department did not apply, the taxpayer did not apply their earned Division of Industrial Relations credit. This discrepancy was discovered by the taxpayer when they filed their annual reconciliation return for the 2022 reporting period, resulting in an overpayment and refund request in the amount of $312,586. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? Motion?
Commissioner Witt, move to approve.
Commissioner Roper, second.
Motion of second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
Agenda item 5A5, CM Life Insurance Company, and we have Rachel Peterson, the department.
For the record, Rachel Peterson. Today, the department is recommending approval of a credit refund in the amount of $360,807.02 for the overpayment of insurance premium tax for CM Life Insurance Company for tax year 2022. After processing the taxpayer's reconciliation return for the 2022 tax year, the department reviewed and verified the taxpayer filed and paid the quarterly IPT returns timely. However, on periods period ending December 31st, 2022, the taxpayer overreported and overpaid premiums. This discrepancy was discovered by the taxpayer when they filed their annual reconciliation return for the 2022 reporting period, resulting in an overpayment and refund request in the amount of $360,807.02. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions?
It's Commissioner Lippman, just furthering the discussion of trying to mitigate all of the time that the state puts into this. Is a check actually issued, or is this monies applied to a subsequent tax liability?
I'm not understanding your question. Can you?
We're talking about $1 million refunds, in this case, over 300,000. Does the state actually issue a check to the company, or do we apply it on their account?
So before we take these large refunds to the commission, we ask the taxpayer if they want to roll it forward to use it on a future tax liability. And all of these ones, they have requested to refund and receive an actual check from the state.
And for the record, Jolyn Smith, tax manager, they have two choices. They get two chances to roll it forward. So on the tax return itself, on the reconciliation, we have an option for them to choose to carry it forward. Even when they choose not to, we still call them and say, just making sure, you really don't want to. So we do try to get them to, so we're not issuing these large refund checks.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe that's something to look into I know you don't have the authority to do that likely, but maybe we need to think about applying it rather than issuing these large refunds. Maybe that would motivate them to take it earlier. Anyway, just a thought.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Motion?
Commissioner Lippman moves to approve the refund as presented.
Commissioner Bursey seconds.
You have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
Agenda item 5A6, Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company. And we have Rachel Peterson for the department.
For the record, Rachel Peterson. Today, the department is recommending approval of a credit refund in the amount of $2,191,951.83 for the overpayment of insurance premium tax for Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company for tax year 2022. After processing the taxpayer's reconciliation return for the 2022 tax year, the department reviewed and verified the taxpayer filed and paid quarterly IPT returns timely. However, on period ending September 30th, 2022 and December 31st, 2022, the taxpayer did not apply their earned film tax credit in addition to their earned Life and Health Guarantee Fund Association credit. This discrepancy was discovered by the taxpayer when they filed their annual reconciliation return for the 2022 reporting period, resulting in an overpayment and refund request in the amount of $2,191,951.83. I'm available for any questions.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Brown. I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm confused of why Cigna would have an earned film tax credit. Maybe someone from the department can explain that to me, please.
Yeah, Rachel Peterson for the record. It's the film tax credit is a transferable tax credit. So the production company that applied for the film tax credit then worked with Cigna, and then it was ultimately transferred to Cigna.
So is this a technicality, but to me, that's not an earned film tax credit. That's a transferred film tax credit. It was earned by some other entity, but I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Commissioner Witt, move to approve Cigna Health and Life Insurance refund.
Commissioner Lippman seconds.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
Agenda item 5A7, CSAA General Insurance Company. For the department, we have Rachel Peterson.
For the record, Rachel Peterson, before I get started, I wanted to make note that there is a typo on the document you all received for the refund for CSAA General Insurance Company. Period ending January 31st, 2022 is referenced on the document, which should have read period end date March 31st, 2022. Today, the department is recommending approval of a credit refund in the amount of $700,212.68 for the overpayment of insurance premium tax for CSAA General Insurance Company for tax year 2022. After processing the taxpayer's reconciliation return for the 2022 tax year, the department reviewed and verified the taxpayer filed and paid the quarterly IPT returns timely. However, on period ending March 31st, 2022, June 30th, 2022, September 30th, 2022, and December 31st, 2022, the taxpayer did not apply their earned Property and Casualty Guarantee Fund Association credit in addition to their earned New Market Job credit throughout the tax year. This discrepancy was discovered by the taxpayer when they filed their annual reconciliation return for the 2022 reporting period, resulting in an overpayment and refund request in the amount of $700,212.68. I'm available for any questions.
Questions? Motion?
Commissioner Lippman moves to approve the insurance refund as presented.
Commissioner Burst seconds.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
And the last agenda item under this section, agenda item 5A8, is U.S. Specialty Insurance Company. And again, we have Rachel Peterson for the department.
For the record, Rachel Peterson, today the department is recommending approval of a credit refund in the amount of $336,470.42 for the overpayment of insurance premium tax for U.S. Specialty Insurance Company for tax year 2022. After processing the taxpayer's reconciliation return for the 2022 tax year, the department reviewed and verified the taxpayer filed and paid the quarterly IPT returns timely. However, on period ending March 31st and June 30th, I'm just going to back up. However, on period ending March 31st, 2022 and June 30th, 2022, the taxpayer overreported and overpaid premiums. The discrepancy was discovered by the taxpayer when they filed their annual reconciliation return for the 2022 reporting period, resulting in an overpayment and refund request in the amount of $336,470.42. I'm available for any questions.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Witt, I do have a question. I'm just I'm pondering from a farmer perspective. What percent of the total that these insurance companies are paying in would you say these refunds represent?
So a very small number, these large refunds, just kind of ballparking, there's about 2,000 insurance tax filers. And for the 22 tax year, we're going to see about 10 large refunds.
10 large refunds. So it's a real small percent of the total income that the state receives for tax dollars from the insurance companies.
I would say so, yes.
Okay. That makes me feel better. It still makes me feel like it'd be nice to have the ability to cash flow a business and, be able to do that with refunds of 2 million,
Yeah, definitely.
I think we ought to keep it. I agree.
Yeah. It's kind of
It's
interesting.
ours now.
I mean, maybe milk and cows should have been in insurance.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Thank you very much. Good job. I would move to approve U.S. Specialty Insurance refund.
Commissioner Rhoda seconds.
Further discussion? Sorry, there was a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Might need to have your notes given to the court reporter.
Mr. Chairman, the next item on the agenda is item 5B, taxpayers' appeal of the department's decision denying taxpayers' late filed petition for redetermination. 5B1 is Diamond Events and Productions LLC. Taxpayer Representative Ron Voigt is available to present his appeal, and the department has Sarah Glasner to respond.
Okay, so it's my understanding on this one that the only thing we're going to discuss today is the denial of the appeal. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay, so I want everybody's comments to stick to that point. Mr. Voigt, go ahead.
Yes, sir. You know, I have submitted information, hopefully in a binder that y'all have in front of y'all to kind of state our position. What we're asking for is for fairness. The taxpayer is entitled to go straight for a meeting with the hearing officer, an oral hearing with the administrative law judge. That's what I'm asking, is that because the issue is a legal issue on the interpretation of the reg, or really the tax law, NRS 372.284, that the department really is not able to make that decision. That would have to be made by the hearing officer. And recently, of course, at the April 21st meeting, the audit tax manager has finally realized that the taxpayer does not have to go through the petition for redetermination done by the auditor. And so really, I'm asking for fairness. I don't think there's any harm done to the department in allowing the taxpayer to include these 3 months, which is July 31st, 2016, August 31st, 2016, and November 30th, 2016. I don't think there's any harm done to the department. In fact, really all the risk is on the taxpayer. And so we're just wanting to have them months presented before the hearing officer. That's really, and I'm asking that based on fairness. And that's really because they, as you notice in my write-up, my first point was that the department had violated NRS 360.365. Well, that's a non-issue now, because as of April 21st meeting, the department has said that now they're going to allow a taxpayer to go straight to hearing. So I'm pleading with you, please allow these 3 months to be presented before the hearing officer. There's no harm done to the department. I don't see on how the department's harmed. If anything, more interest and penalties are being accumulated against the taxpayer, so he has more to lose. And that's what I'm asking for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fred?
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. Sarah Glasner for the department for the record. This, again, is consideration of the appeal of the denial, and it is limited solely to consideration regarding the untimely filing of the petition for redetermination. This started, as you can see in your paperwork, it started back in 2017. The department asked the taxpayer several times to file the missing sales and use tax returns, and when the taxpayer failed to file the missing returns, the department issued a deficiency determination for the periods in question pursuant to the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, as we do with all other taxpayers. Upon request from the taxpayer, the department later requested that the taxpayer provide documentation to support the returns that the taxpayer sought to replace as identified in the determination. Again, the taxpayer failed to provide such documentation. The debt became final, and rather than seek redetermination or request for hearing at that time or otherwise appeal the decision of the department, the taxpayer entered into a payment plan agreement for these periods. The taxpayer later defaulted on this payment plan agreement. Over 3 years later, Mr. Voigt was retained by the taxpayer as its representative, and Mr. Voigt submitted a petition for redetermination and requested both an audit and an oral hearing. The record reflects consistent efforts by the department to work with the taxpayer and explain the requirements regarding these deficiencies. More than 3 years later, the taxpayer retained Mr. Voigt. Mr. Voigt has not presented a good faith reason for the taxpayer's delay, and the record firmly reflects efforts made by the department to work with the taxpayer during the time at issue. The taxpayer disregarded multiple communications from the department, failed to file the timely petition despite written communication, delayed proactive measures regarding the deficiency until after the department began collection procedures, and failed to justify the years-long delay. Moreover, Mr. Voigt has been informed that his request related to these periods falls outside the statute of limitations, and therefore the department would be statutorily precluded from addressing these periods in the audit. The department respectfully requests that the tax commission uphold the department's decision to deny the late filed petition and request for hearing. Notably, even if the late filed petition were granted, the statute of limitations would preclude action by the department to adjust the deficiency determination. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the commissioners?
Chairman, can I say one thing, sir?
No, not right now. We've heard from you. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Rutherford. I think has been summarized here by the department. I think the taxpayer's been given numerous opportunities. They did not respond. They filed their petition nearly 4 years after the fact, using Mr. Voigt's own terminology of fairness. In order to be fair to the department and fair to the state of Nevada, I can't see supporting this at all.
Okay, any other comments from the commissioners?
Commissioner Lippman joins Commissioner Rotifer, and just to say, it really is not only fairness to this Department of Tax, but also to all other taxpayers, that we uphold and respect statute of limitations so that things can be, we can move on from various processes. So I'm ready to move to uphold the department's decision unless there's further discussion.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Rutherford, second.
Mr. Brown.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Director Hughes.
Thank you.
Agenda is item 5C1, Natick Network North American Dental Implants and Cosmetics. And we have David Pope, Chief Deputy Attorney General, representing the department.
Morning, Chairman Wren. Good morning, Chairman Wren, Commissioners. David Pope with the Attorney General's Office on behalf of the department. So in this matter, Natick filed a notice of appeal, but they did not file a brief or designate portions of the record. NAC 360-175 requires taxpayers to file a brief and designate portions of the record within 30 days of filing the notice of appeal. Natick was sent 3 letters reminding them of this requirement over time. And to date, they still have not filed a brief or designated portions of the record. A newer section of the reg, which is section 11 of NAC 360-175, allows the commission, authorizes the commission to dismiss an appeal if the appellant does not file the brief or designate portions of the record. And so we're requesting that the commission dismiss this appeal.
All right, thank you. Is there a representative of Natick present?
No.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Pope? Motion.
Commissioner Lippman moves to approve the department's request to dismiss the taxpayer's appeal and affirm the ALJ's decision.
Commissioner Byram, second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, next item on the agenda is agenda item 7, local government finance. Agenda item 7.1 is certification of ad valorem tax rates for fiscal year 2022, 2023 pursuant to NRS 361.4547. And for the department, we have Kelly Langley.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. In your packet, it contains a copy of the proposed property tax rates for the Nevada local governments for fiscal year 2023-24, also known as the Red Book. We have reviewed all of the proposed taxes and can recommend to you that they are all within statutory limitations. I'd like to draw your attention to Roman numeral 3 of the Red Book, entitled Property Tax Revenue Property Dollars, dollars projected. This page indicates total statewide assessed value, including net proceeds of minerals, of $185.5 billion, up from the prior year of $146.3 billion. We project this would generate approximately $6 billion, yet that is pre-abatement from property taxes, up from 4.6 from the prior year. The schools get the lion's share of this, approximately 38.4%, and the state receives approximately 5.3%. Again, this information is prior to the abatement calculations, although if you look at Roman numeral page 4, you'll be able to see the amount of the abatement in there. On the very last page of the book, you'll see that we have the tax cap. The residential cap was set at 3%, but for all other property, the general tax cap, which depends on the county in which the property is located. Each county has a general cap factor based on the higher of either the 10-year rolling average growth rate in the assessed value or 2 times the CPI, which was 8%. The department requests the commission certify the combined tax rates as submitted. The combined tax rates are reflected in Section A, column 5, and Section B, column 9 of the local government finance property tax rates for Nevada local governments, otherwise known as the Red Book. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions? Seeing none, motion?
Commissioner Witt, move to approve.
Commissioner
Byram,
Brinkley,
second.
please.
We have a motion and 2 seconds. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Hughes.
The next item on the agenda is agenda item 6.2, review and consideration for approval of the renewal of the residential construction tax. We have 3 items under this agenda item, which first one is Lincoln County School District, the second is Douglas County School District, and the third is Story County School District. And we have Kelly Langley representing the department.
Good.
Again, for the record, Kelly Langley. We do have Lincoln County School, Douglas County School, and Story County School available to discuss these residential construction tax renewals. All 3 of the school districts are requesting renewal. Last time they were in front of the Tax Commission for this was in 2019. And all 3 of the entities are requesting that the tax rate be $1,600 per new residents in the district. They all 3 meet the requirement of the population being under 55,000. I believe we have Sue Estes here from Douglas County and possibly Ginger Shumway and Todd Hess available for questions or on the phone.
Okay, thank you very much. This is pretty straightforward. Do we have any questions of the commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, it's Commissioner Brown. I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On Douglas County and Story County, the package indicates that it anticipated the county commission approvals on June 15th and June 17th, respectively. I would just like a representation whether or not the county commissions did approve that or not.
For Douglas County, Sue Estes. Sue Estes, Director of Business Services. Yes, the 615 was approved at Douglas County for the continuation of the levy.
Great, thank you. And how about for Story County? And I misspoke, it was 6-7. I think I said 617, but it was 6-7.
Is Todd Hess available on?
I'm right here.
Okay, thank you.
Come forward.
Here you go.
Todd Hess, Superintendent, Story County School District. For the record, it was recently approved by our school board on June 7th, and then we'd like to go ahead and put it forward to our Board of Commissioners at the next meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr.
motion.
Chairman, Commissioner
Yes.
Byram, are you looking to have one motion for each of the three items or each individual?
Just all three at the same time.
Okay. I would move to approve the renewal of the residential construction tax for Lincoln County School District, Douglas County School District, and Story County School District.
Commissioner Brown would second.
Perfect. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next item on the agenda is item 7, Local Government Services Division. 7.1 is taxpayers' appeal of the treasurer's denial of waiver of penalty and/or interest per NRS 361.4835. The first item is Sofidel American Corporation. We should have someone representing Clark County available, and we have Jeff Mitchell for the department.
Okay, we have a representative from Sofidel American Corporation.
Hello. Yes, this is Timothy Ziegler. I filed the appeal, and our authorized representative for this matter, we would like to make Jeff Tolton, who is also on the call, if that's possible.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Jeff, are you there?
Do we need to let him in?
I just did, and I have.
Yes,
Okay.
this is Jeff Talton. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Jeff Talton, Talton, representing Sofidel America. I just want to take a minute to say thank you for having us here to hear our request. This is pretty straightforward. The tax bills for personal property tax bills were mailed to an old corporate office address in Haines City, Florida. There was a change in physical location of the corporate office from Florida to up to Pennsylvania. And in that transition, the address was still listed as the old corporate address. The bill was sent to Haines City, Florida. And during that time, again, I'd like to also point out that USPS is very unreliable these days, so it delays us receiving and sending mail parcels. Timing for the payment processing took more time due to the fact that the bills went to the alternate address and not the new corporate office. We paid the bill timely, including all the penalties and interest on 11/9/2022. Again, Sofidel is a good Nevada taxpayer with a consistent history of timely payments on all outstanding bills, not just property tax, but all. And we'd ask the board for consideration of abating the penalties and interest for this one and only time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mitchell?
Thank you, Jeff Mitchell, for the record with the Nevada Department of Taxation. With this being on the unsecured roll and unsecured property taxes, the decision is made by the county assessor on the waiver, and the county assessor determined per the letter that they did not meet the qualifications under NRS, and I believe that a representative from the assessor's office.
Okay, Clark County.
Hi, I'm Sharon Henry, Clark County Assessor. The appellant did not include their address changes to us prior to the due date. The declaration received was back on July 18th and worked July 28th. At that time, if there was a change of address for the mailing that would have been submitted. We did not receive that. We've also billed on August the 11th of 22 and the second billing on October the 4th of 22. And we still did not receive a change of address.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the commissioners?
Commissioner Witt, I have a question. Just does the tax department in Las Vegas, you take online payments?
Yes, we do.
So if we know that the postal service sometimes drops the package, there's an alternative, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, could be.
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Yes.
It seems to me, I'm speaking to the taxpayer, that as a sophisticated taxpayer, Sofidel America moved its corporate headquarters, but failed to inform the Department of Taxation. And taxpayers always have to make sure that they have correct address on file for taxing authorities, whether it's federal, state. But also you would think that there would be an internal system where important mail would be redirected quickly, and so that things could be timely filed and paid. I just don't see where there's a room for allowance on this when they moved their headquarters and then failed to follow up on their obligation. I would move to uphold the denial of this refund, of this penalty waiver.
Commissioner Lippman seconds the motion, and I am somewhat sympathetic to the company, and I appreciate you being timely on all your payments, but you can only imagine the number of taxpayers this Department of Tax deals with, and people change addresses. The taxpayer has that burden to keep us well informed. So I appreciate your attention to detail and commitment to pay on a timely basis on a going forward basis. But the department just can't take that obligation on. So thank you for being a good taxpayer.
All right, thank you. I've got a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Director Hughes.
The next item on the agenda is agenda item 712, which is 2800 Fremont LLC. Again, we have Clark County present, and we also have Jeff Mitchell for the department.
Very good. Do we have a representative of 2800 Fremont?
We do, yes.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good morning. My name is Taylor Verhollen. I'm the owner of Stout Management Company. I'm here on behalf of 28 Fremont LLC. We're the company that manages the apartments located at that location. I'm asking for a waiver on the penalties assessed for the third installment of taxes for the fiscal year 2022 and 2023. We attempted to pay the taxes on time on January 6th, which is within our 10-day grace period of the due date. We received a successful payment confirmation online when we attempted to pay these taxes. So we thought that we were on time and everything was fine. When we do our bank reconciliation at the end of the month for our properties, we determined that the taxes had not been taken out of our bank account. So we, on our own volition, reached out to the tax department to try to understand what had happened and become current on our taxes. In discussions with Clark County, it was inconclusive what had happened. They stated that there was a third-party payment processor, and between our bank and the payment processor, the payment didn't go through. I'm asking for a waiver because we were never notified that it was denied or that the payment did not go through. So the successful payment receipt we got gave us the indication that we were current with taxes. We also worked with Clark County as closely as we could to make the payment that was outstanding. As soon as we found out about it, we were advised to hold off on the late fees until a decision was made at that level. We were denied there, but then we consequently made the late fee payment as well in preparation for an appeal here. So I'm requesting a waiver based on the fact that we thought we had made our payment on time and had diligently in our own volition tried to make current after we found out we were unsuccessful.
Okay, thank you. And your confirmation that they were paid was from the tax commission?
The Clark County, Nevada Treasurer, yes,
from the treasurer. Okay, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jeff Mitchell for the record with the Nevada Department of Taxation. Again, per NRS 361-4835, this is an appeal of the secured property tax payments for the Clark County Treasurer. Mr. Ken Diaz or a representative from the Clark County Treasurer's office would handle the initial appeal and would be able to speak to what went on and answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Clark County, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, this is Donna Merrill, the Assistant County Treasurer in Clark. And I'm just going to follow up on a couple of things what this gentleman had said. I appreciate you guys listening to this hearing today. They did make their payment on 1/6 online. Part of the process that we have online for online payments is ensuring that there is double entry of all their data so that if there's a key in area, we can catch it. Something happened in what they were entering into the system for their bank account. So their bank account information was incorrect. So we do send them a receipt. Part of the terms and conditions on that receipt says that if the money is not honored by your bank, that the funds that are going to be removed and you will be subject to penalty and interest. So we sent it to the bank. We were notified on the 9th that they couldn't locate whatever account number they had put in, so they must have put something in wrong. We sent a letter to the homeowner. We have no record of the management company, so we sent the letter to the homeowner saying at the 2300 Fremont LLC that it did not clear. So maybe they didn't communicate it to the management company, why they didn't find out. So we did send that out on the 11th. And, we were notified on the 11th. We sent a letter out on the 12th saying that the funds did not clear. As if anything you purchase with the check, if the check does not clear that receipt, then it's voided. I appreciate your time.
Would you mind spelling your last name for me, please?
Sure, Merrell.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byram, it sounds to me like there's either one of those data entry errors like we heard last time where they cut and paste the account number a second time. So the system sees those two matching, and what it's saying is, yes, the first and the second entry match. Therefore, it was you get a receipt saying it was successful, but then they're both incorrect because they keyed the first one in incorrectly and copied and pasted it into the second field. So if that's the case, then maybe there's a way that could be programmed so you can't cut and paste the account number and prevent that from going forward. But I didn't see in the packet where the taxpayer had approved that there were sufficient funds in the account at the time range that this was supposed to clear. So I'm just unclear what the reason was that they got a receipt that the payment went through, but then it didn't go through. Was it because there was insufficient funds, or was it did we confirm that it's that data entry error?
Hi, this is Donna with the Treasurer's Office. It is when they enter the information in, if they enter all the fields in the required amount of fields that they need, and it has the right route, it does verify a routing number, so it's a valid bank. There's no way for us to verify a bank account number because we don't have a list of all the bank accounts. That they enter all the data in, it'll give them a receipt under the assumption that they've entered everything correctly. What in this case we got back from it was the bank account was not able to be located, so it wasn't even a valid bank account number that got put in there. And that's why it was returned.
So
So
you're
they
not
wouldn't have gotten it from their bank because that never hit their bank account.
correct. So does your system require that account number to be keyed in twice?
Yes. And there's no way programmatically for a computer not to, because it's not the program, it's the operating systems on your computer that let you copy and paste.
To not allow a copy. Okay, so this happened,
Yeah.
this happened we heard this past month and then it happened
Yes.
again. Okay,
Yes.
all right. Thank you. That answered my questions.
Commissioner Lippman, for the record, a question of the taxpayer. So Commissioner Byram has raised the issue that do you testify before the commission today that the funds were available in the bank account?
Yes, I do.
And then secondly, the state has indicated that that a letter was sent, but it could have gone to the residents and not the management company. And so were you aware of that letter? Did you receive any notice of that letter, maybe even later?
No, if it was sent to the property owner, it would not have gone to the management company. The property owner did not make me aware of it. As I stated previously, we reached out to Clark County when we found out that payment did not process through our reconciliation process at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm. And so I would suggest strongly that you now determine the address on file with the state. But I am sympathetic, Commissioner Byram, to this case because the record reflects that the taxpayer, received an online notice that their payment was approved. And I agree with the state that obviously has the typical disclaimers that if there's no funds in the account, obviously it wouldn't be approved. But here, taxpayer really did try to make the payment timely. And then they affirmatively discovered it when they reconciled their bank account that money didn't come out. And then contacted the state to make the payment as quickly as possible. This is one of the issues with online payments, that you get a notice that it seemingly is processed, but then no follow-up. The state did what it could when it found out the payment wasn't properly processed, but it's just a lot of checks and balances. So this is a much more sympathetic case here. Taxpayer really did affirmatively try to do everything correctly. Do you have, again, for the taxpayer, do you have any sense of what happened? Transposition of does anyone remember cutting and pasting the account number?
Believe me, I've tried to find out. I don't know if it was a copy and paste or a miskey. There needs to be double entry, which you would think would be a check and balance that would determine an error. But unfortunately, if that was the cause, it got through. I don't know if my accountant copy and pasted or just typed it in wrong twice. I'm unsure. I wasn't able to find out.
Well, I'm confident you're not going to let it happen on a going forward basis. And so I am, I appreciate the letter. I thought there was good detail, good check and balance. I appreciate you being here today and being a dedicated taxpayer. So I'm actually going to move to allow the taxpayer's appeal for the waiver of penalty and interest, and ask the taxpayer to make sure on a going forward basis that this is taxed and paid timely. And I do appreciate the states trying to reach out, and I would also check on your addresses for late notices. So that's my motion.
Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Byram. I'll second, but I want to make a comment that we had an identical issue last month and we did split the penalty in half to recognize that it wasn't any fault of the treasurers or of the county. And that there's a little bit maybe of shared blame in the mailing of the notice. But I will go with a second of the motion that is pending.
All right, thank you. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Director Hughes?
The next item on the agenda is agenda item 713, Bark Box Inc. Again, I believe we do have a representative from Clark County, and we have Jeff Mitchell for the department.
Good. Do we have a representative from Bark Box? Is there a representative from Bark Box on the phone?
If there is someone on the phone, Bark Box Inc., please dial *9 or raise your hand in Zoom. See anybody on the telephone or Zoom.
Okay, let's go straight to Clark County then.
Hi, Sharon Henry, Clark County Assessor. We had denied this penalty waiver request. The appellant placed a stop payment on their check that they made online.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Byram.
Yes.
What I understood that they had keyed this in, but they had a new controller and the new controller hadn't approved it so that the payment rejected, or that's the reason it rejected. Is that correct?
Per their letter stating that they did have a new controller and they were new to the company, so possibly they did not, was not aware of that payment. So they placed a stop payment on that check.
Okay, that answered my question. This looks to me to be 100% the taxpayer's fault. And I would move to deny the penalty request, waiver.
Commissioner Brown with second.
All right, thank you very much. I have a motion and a second for the discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Director Hughes.
The next item on the agenda is agenda item 714, Thomas Hanson and Susan Polvey for the Hanson Polvey Family Trust. We have a Clark County treasurer, I believe, on the line, and Jeff Mitchell for the department.
Okay, do we have a representative from the trust?
If there's anybody on the line for the Hanson Polvey Family Trust, please dial *9 or raise your hand in Zoom.
Okay, we'll go straight to Clark County again then.
Good afternoon. For this one here, the Hanson Polvey Family Trust, we originally had denied this because it was, we had sent out the billing to the address on record. But as further review, we were looking at if this is a new homeowner and some of the other documentation we found, we actually believe we should waive this. So we asked the committee to approve the waiver. No, sometimes things change.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we have to.
That's correct.
All right, so you're asking us to give them a refund of $125.02. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Questions?
Commissioner Witt, so moved.
Commissioner Lippman seconds with Commissioner Bursey.
Again, we have a motion and 2 seconds just to affirm it. Further discussion? Saying none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hughes.
So items 7.2, 1 through 3 were pulled from the agenda. So the next item is agenda item 8, informational items. Agenda item 8A is penalty and interest waivers granted by the department. And 8B is approval and denial status report log for organizations created for religious, charitable, or educational purposes. Both items are informational items and are included in your meeting.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is.
Just with Commissioner Bursey with a question regarding the informational items. The last couple of packets that I've looked at have attached at the end of the informational items, it looks like appeals by various taxpayers. And I'm wondering if I'm supposed to be doing something with those, or if they have an import of some kind. This time it was Dash Mesh Enterprises, DBA Your Stop Convenience and Deli, and M&G Group Enterprises, DBA Gasket Guy. Is there a reason that you are attaching the appeals packets for these taxpayers?
This is Tina Padovano, and those have been provided to me by Mr. Correo. And they are waivers under 10,000, so they're just for informational.
Waivers. So the informational items, let me look at this. Hold on. Please bear with me.
Chris Correo is on the line.
Okay. I'm trying to get my, okay, I've got it. Well, the informational items, it seems to me, are all related to requests that are under $10,000. Otherwise, they would come to us and we would be voting on them. So I am wondering why these particular taxpayers this month have their applications or their requests attached in the packet.
Chris Correo, can you hear me?
He has his hand up. But
There we go. It's unmuted now. Sorry about that. It was giving me a hard time. This is Chris Corrello, Audit Manager for the record. I do apologize. I was clicking the unmute button and it made me rejoin. So I did cut out for about 20 seconds and I didn't hear everything completely. And if you could just kind of repeat what you're asking for.
Sure, Mr. Corrello. At the end of the information, the spreadsheet sheets that are provided to us as informational items, there are applications by 2 taxpayers, requests for waiver of penalty and interest. And it looks to me to be the full application attached to the very end of this informational item packet. And I'm wondering why they're attached.
Yeah, I believe as Ms. Tina Padovano stated, they are under the $10,000 consent items, but we still put them or prepare a packet and we send it out for your the Nevada Tax Commission's review. just for informational items.
Maybe I don't know if anyone else has an issue with this. Did anyone else notice that this has just started happening? And it doesn't appear to be a really critical problem. I was just wondering if I'm missing something, because I think that all of the taxpayers who are listed under informational items by county, it looks like they're all under $10,000. So why are these two taxpayers special? Maybe this is something you could help me with later, Mr. Corello.
Yeah, certainly. I will look into it a little bit more. It could be that maybe we have to change our process, but I will definitely look into it and discuss it and get back to the commission.
Well, you could probably just get back to me. I may be the only one who's having a problem with it.
Not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that'd be fine. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Commissioner Witt, I just have a comment. In my notes, I wrote down the gasket guy and dash mesh because I too went, whoa, these look like they belong somewhere else. I understand that they are under $10,000, but their presence there means that the department internally ruled on them. And they're just letting us know. Is that correct?
I'm not sure if Chris Corello is still on the phone.
Yeah, I'm still here. Chris Corello for the record. Yeah, that is correct, Commissioner Witt.
Oh, thank you.
So
Okay.
it sounds to me that we're just getting the entire, Commissioner Bursey, we're just getting the entire record for those specific cases, whereas for all the other ones, we're just getting a line item. And so I think Mr. Corello does not need to provide the entire record because it's under 10,000.
I think they're all under 10,000 and
Right,
we
right.
we don't get the record for
Exactly.
all of the taxpayers.
Right.
So that's if we could just find out why those two were special. That's all I want to know.
Audit.
I don't think they are special. I think he's just providing the information in an abundance of caution, but we don't need them.
I think we have another quick explanation.
Delia Andrade, Tax Supervisor 3 for the department, ANDRADE. I believe the ones Chris submitted may be under audit because the revenue section, we do the informational ones and we list them that we've approved the waiver.
Okay, is that audit, they were audited, but that audit's,
I believe Chris Carrillo is an audit manager.
okay. So is the audit complete?
Yeah, the audit probably was completed quite some time ago. And after it's paid, the taxpayers request a waiver of penalty and interest. And since there wasn't an audit that was performed, we then look over the documents and make a determination if they are eligible for penalty and interest waiver.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Okay.
All right, the next item on the agenda is agenda item 9, which is the briefing to the commission from the executive director. And so for my briefing today, I wanted to let the commission know that the 82nd session of the Nevada legislature ended on June 5th, 2023. But we also had a 34th and 35th special session this year. The 34th special session ended on June 6th, 2023, and the 35th special session ended on June 14th, 2023. Several bills were signed by the governor that affect the department. I will briefly summarize a few of those bills. Assembly Bill 53 increases the penalty for an employee or agent of a licensee who sells, distributes, or offers to sell cigarettes or other tobacco products to any person under the age of 21 years old. For violations which occur within a 24-month period at the same premises, a licensee is liable for a civil penalty of $2,500 for the first violation, $5,000 for the second violation, $7,500 for a third violation, and $10,000 for a fourth and any other subsequent violation. And the effective date of this bill is January 1st, 2024. Assembly Bill 232 reduces the tax that is imposed on the receipt, purchase, and sale of premium cigars to not more than 50 cents or less than 30 cents for each premium cigar. The bill defines premium cigar as a cigar that is rolled by hand, has a wrapper made of whole tobacco leaves, and does not have a filter or mouthpiece. The effective date of this bill is July 1st, 2023, and expires by limitation on June 30th, 2027. Assembly Bill 430 revises the excise tax on the wholesale sale of cannabis to apply the tax only to the first wholesale sale and to provide that the tax is at the rate of 15% of one, the fair market value at wholesale for sales made to an affiliate of the medical cannabis cultivation facility or an adult use cannabis cultivation facility, or two, the sales price if the sale is made to a cannabis establishment that is not an affiliate of the medical cannabis cultivation facility or adult use cannabis cultivation facility. The effective date of this bill is January 1st, 2024. Assembly Bill 448 relates to the imposition of taxes on transfers of real property or the real property transfer tax, which is abbreviated as RPTT. Existing law provides that certain transfers are exempt from the RPTT if the transfer is between certain affiliated business entities. This bill provides that an exemption does not apply if a transfer of real property is made to a business entity formed for the purpose of evading the RPTT. The bill became effective upon passage and approval. Assembly Bill 455 allows the department to impose a civil penalty up to the amount of actual costs for the seizure, storage, transportation, and destruction of contraband tobacco products. The bill becomes effective on July 1st, 2023. Senate Bill 29 prohibits interest on a refund of any tax which was overcollected by a taxpayer and which the taxpayer is required to refund the person from who the tax was collected. The bill becomes effective on July 1st, 2023. Senate Bill 50 revises the manner in which a member of the Nevada National Guard or a relative of a member claims an exemption during the sales tax holiday that occurs over Nevada Day and immediately following weekend. To stay in compliance with streamlined sales and use tax agreement, the bill removes the requirement that to claim the exemption, the person must provide a copy of the letter of the exemption to the retailer. Instead, this bill requires that the retailer collect the tax on the purchase of the tangible personal property that qualifies for the exemption, and that person who claims the exemption submit to the department a request for refund of the tax, a copy of the letter of the exemption issued to the person, and the receipt issued to the person by the retailer. Under this bill, the department is required to issue a refund of the tax to the person who submits the required information. The bill is effective July 1st, 2023. Senate Bill 124 provides for the early expiration regarding the imposition and advance payment of a portion of the net proceeds of mineral tax and royalties. The bill became effective upon passage and approval. Senate Bill 259 authorizes a winery that has been issued a winemaker's license on or after October 1st, 2015, to also sell at retail or serve by the glass at one other location in addition to its premises where wine is produced, blended, or aged by the winery. The bill also increases the limit that winery is authorized to sell at retail or serve by the glass from 1,000 cases to 2,000 cases, and additionally authorizes such a winery to sell at retail or served by the glass not more than 150 barrels of cider produced by the winery per calendar year. This bill becomes effective on October 1st, 2023. Senate Bill 277 deems each adult use cannabis establishment to be a dual licensee and authorizes the establishment to engage in activities relating to the medical use of cannabis to the same extent as if the adult use cannabis establishment held a medical cannabis establishment license of the same type. The bill also exempts from the excise tax imposed on the retail sales of cannabis products by an adult use cannabis retail store any sale of cannabis for the medical use of cannabis or a medical cannabis product to the holder of a registry identification card or letter of approval by an adult use cannabis retail store deemed to be a dual licensee. The effective date of this bill is January 1st, 2024. Senate Bill 428 provides for the submission to the voters of the question whether the Sales and Use Tax Act of 1955 should be amended to provide an exemption from sales and use tax for child and adult diapers. This tax exemption would become effective on January 1st, 2025 and expire by limitation on December 31st, 2050, only if the voters approve the amendment to the Sales and Use Tax Act of 1955 at the general election in 2024. Senate Bill 466 makes an appropriation to the department for the costs of a contractor with an information technology consultant to perform a backlog of updates to the Unified Tax System. Senate Bill 467 makes an appropriation to the department for the relocation of its Carson City office. Senate Bill 489 makes appropriations to the Department for Information Technology projects and equipment, employee training, and a money counter machine. And lastly, Senate Bill 1 from the 35th special session is known as the Southern Nevada Tourism Innovation Act. The Clark County Board of Commissioners shall create a sports and entertainment improvement district and shall pledge the proceeds of the following taxes, fees, or charges imposed by the state. The sales and use tax imposed in NRS 372 with regard to tangible personal property sold at retail or stored, used, or otherwise consumed in the sports entertainment improvement district. The sales and use tax or the local school support tax in NRS 374 with regard to tangible personal property sold at retail or stored, used, or otherwise consumed in the sports and entertainment improvement district. A modified business tax imposed in NRS 363A and 363B with regards to wages earned by employees located within the sports and entertainment improvement district. The insurance premium tax imposed in NRS 680B with regard to insurance premiums earned from policies on businesses or assets within the sports entertainment improvement district. The commerce tax imposed in NRS 363C with regard to gross revenues generated within the sports and entertainment improvement district. The live entertainment tax imposed in NRS 368A with regard to admission to any facility where live entertainment is provided within the sports and entertainment improvement district. The liquor tax imposed in NRS 369 with regard to any liquor purchased or otherwise consumed within the sports and entertainment improvement district. The transportation connection tax imposed at NRS 372B on transportation network companies with regards to fares charged for transportation services for which the point of origin or the destination is in the sports and entertainment improvement district. And the exhibition fee imposed in NRS 360 with regard to the licensing fee for operating a facility at which exhibitions are held within the sports and entertainment improvement district. The distribution of taxes to the sports and entertainment district will be very similar to the distributions of taxes to the tourism improvement districts that currently exist. Regulations will need to be adopted by the department regarding procedures for the identification and segmentation of the taxes, fees, and charges that occur within the sports and entertainment improvement district. The bill requires the department to provide commercially reasonable procedures by which such taxes, fees, and charges paid by any business or person operating in the sports entertainment improvement district are to be identified and segmented such that they can be directed to the baseball stadium tax account. This bill also requires the department to monitor transferable tax credits that can be applied to the MBT or the insurance premium tax. The sections of the bill that pertain to the department become effective upon passage and approval. That completes my review of the bills that were passed this session that affect the department. And before I conclude my briefing, I wanted to say thank you to Jason O'Brien, Veronica Fleischer, TJ Toshin, and Joe Bernardi for installing the new video camera in the Reno boardroom and getting everything ready for today's meeting.
Thank you very much. Okay. Next meeting is going to be August 14th, 2023. Do we have any public comment in Reno? Do we have any public comment on the phone?
there's any public comment on the phone or Zoom, please dial *9 or raise your hand to be put into the queue. And I don't see any public comment.
Any public comment in Las Vegas?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Wren, Commissioners and Chairman. I apologize. If I was speaking over you earlier, I just got rolling. And then secondly, I wanted to introduce one of our newest deputies, Kayla Garame. We stole her from what we refer to as our litigation division, and we're really happy to have her part of the team. And so Kayla is representing the Department of Tax and the Department of Insurance. So we have to share her, but we have her. So please meet Kayla. Kayla, please meet the commission. Thank you.
Could you
Thank you
please
very much.
identify yourself?
Mr. Pope.
Oh, yeah, sorry, David Pope with the Attorney General's office.
Hi. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll give you our congratulations and condolences at the same time. Okay, are there any items anybody would like to see on future agenda? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.